Hello, everybody, and welcome to Soul Stained Ink. My name is Beth, and today is May the 4th. So, read, use the power of the Force, and may the Force be with you. I am here today to give you just a quick beginning of middle grade May reading update. I have completed 2 books in the last couple of days, and I'm currently in the middle of 2 others and about to start a third. So, the 2 books that I have completed are drum roll please. It's only because I'm trying to get up to my Goodreads because I do not have a physical copy of this first book. The Jedi Path: A Manual for Students of the Force by Daniel Wallace. I read this one in ebook form, and it is literally just a discussion of the different rules, like there are no emotions, there is only peace, things of that nature. But it's annotated, and it is an annotated manuscript by the characters. So, like, there's one section where there's a note that says, updated, this section must be signed Yoda, and then underneath it, in a different handwriting in a different color, it says, so updated old one, signed Dooku. And I found it very funny. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Again, it's just a listing of like basic Jedi rules for like a new Jedi to read over and know. The second book, which I completed this week, is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. I made a video yesterday showing you the different editions of Alice in Wonderland that I currently own, as well as talking a little bit about Lewis Carroll and how he came up with this concept. So you should go check that out. I didn't really tell you anything about the story. So if you don't know, Alice in Wonderland is the story of Alice, who at the very beginning of the book is sitting on the riverbank, and her sister is reading to her, and she sees a white rabbit go by. And what I find really hilarious is that at the beginning of the book, at least, it says that Alice sees this white rabbit go by, and it is not at all remarkable to her that this rabbit is running on his back 2 feet, that he is wearing a waistcoat with a pocket, or that he is muttering to himself. The thing that really attracted her attention and made Alice decide to follow the rabbit is that he pulled out a pocket watch. And that's what grabbed her. She was like half asleep and was like, oh, look, a bunny running on his back feet, muttering about being late. Oh, look, he has on a waistcoat. That's fun. And then he pulled out a pocket watch and is like, I'm late. And she's like, why would a rabbit need a pocket watch? And that's what got her. And my students, when we were reading the very beginning, because most of them don't really know the story of Alice, they also don't really know classic folklore, which surprises me an awful lot. They know mythology, but like regular fairy tales and folk tales that my kids know, that when I taught 4th grade and 5th grade, all those kids already knew them, and we would like review them in the units. My 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders have no idea. So I don't know if they've just forgotten them or if they're not being taught them or seeing them as much. But that really concerns me. So that was kind of off topic, but they didn't really know the references and stories in here as much. But as we were reading through the beginning, she falls down into the rabbit hole, and their big concern was, how did a like 10, 11-year-old girl manage to fit in a rabbit hole? Like they weren't worried about the fact that she was falling and that there was a bunch of chairs and cabinets and she's like trying to eat marmalade off of a table in this rabbit hole. They were concerned about the fact that she climbed through and fell in, and how in the world, how big was this rabbit that she fell in its hole? That was their concern. They haven't finished yet. I went ahead and finished the reread, and then we'll go back. We're only about halfway through right now because of the way we're doing it. We'll finish it next week with them. But that is the other book that I have completed. Alice Falls into Wonderland, and she manages to get herself actually into the into the world and goes on a whole huge misadventure. But it is quite wonderful. I don't like Alice as a character. I'll tell you that right away. A lot of people don't like the whole book because Alice is whiny and terrible. She is. I'm not a big fan of her, but the world that Carol created and the other characters that he includes absolutely fascinate me. I am a huge fan of the Cheshire Cat and of the Mad Hatter and the March Hare as well. I love it. Lewis Carroll himself was a huge advocate of wordplay and games with vocabulary and things like that, even though he was a math teacher. So he puts in a lot of really fun stuff that I adore. My students, not so much. They think I'm just being sneaky trying to get them to do extra work when I'm trying to have a good time the last couple of weeks of school. But that is neither here nor there. Now, I did mention that I have two other books currently on the go. One of them is The Magician's Map, which is the second book in the House on Hoarder Hill series. Elena and I read the first book. I don't remember if it was in March. Ooh, no, no, don't start playing. I don't remember if it was in March or at the beginning of April, but we read the first book and really liked it. So there is, I'm terrible at that, but there's the cover for the second one. It is by Miki Lish. That is Mikkilish. And it follows two children who's in the first book they go to visit their grandfather who they very rarely visit and have never like been to his home, but their parents have to go off on some sort of archaeological dig or something like that, and so they end up going to stay with their grandpa, and they know that their grandma died or disappeared or something when their mom was young. And they start to discover that their grandfather, who was a stage magician, was maybe more magician than stage. There are evil fairies in paintings. The absolute best characters in the book are a bear rug and a stuffed and mounted stag head that talk to the children. There's a ghost and a search and gargoyles that come to life, and it's absolutely, absolutely glorious. I loved the first book. We gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars, and the second book is a lot of fun as well. Um, the kids get to meet and hang out with their cousins in the first book, and they haven't really spent any time with them. Maybe not ever. I can't remember if they'd met them previously or not. But their grandpa has a brother, and these are their great uncle's grandkids. And so they become really close in the first book. In the second book, all of them go off on another adventure together, and it is great fun. There's a lot of like coming of age stuff, there's a lot of sibling stuff, family growth, trying to find out who you are, as is wont in middle grade books, but all bound together in a glorious, fantastical way. And we are really enjoying this. We have less than an hour left on the audiobook for the second one. And then we already have the third one waiting to start. I do believe it is a trilogy. I don't think there's any more yet. There might be more coming out. I don't know, but there are at least 3 books, and we are hoping to finish book 2 and 3 in the month of May. The other book I'm currently reading is not a middle grade book, but I am reading it in order to be able to buddy read the second book with Fiona. This is one of Fiona from Reads and Eats. It's one of her favorite books, and it's called A Discovery of Witches. Um, and I am having a really great time with this book. I think 2024 may be the year of me really getting into more of the adult books, which is kind of funny. But this is by Deborah Harkness. Um, I'm really enjoying it. Again, I think this is a trilogy. We're going to read book 2 and possibly book 3 over the next couple of months. She and I are also going to buddy read the first book in the Chalet School series. It's one of her favorite series. She sent me the first book last year at some point, and I was going to read it, and I never got to a point where I could read it. So we are going to buddy read it together this month. And then I am about to start a physical book for middle grade May. And I think I want to read The Mystery of Locked Rooms. This is by Lindsay Curry. I pre ordered it and was hoping that it was going to get to me. Was hoping it was going to get to me before the end of March Mystery Madness, but it came at the beginning of April when it actually released. So this is a brand new Lindsay Curry, and there's a reason why the 4-year-old's nickname is Little Monster. I just saw green on the edges and was like, what is that? She colored on it. Luckily, she colored with one of my highlighters, so she didn't mark anything out. And, this is a book that we will be keeping anyway. And even if we donated it somewhere, I'm sure they wouldn't mind as they could still read it. But now I'm a little perturbed. Um, anyway, I'm going to be reading on this weekend and next week as well. I wouldn't anticipate me doing a whole bunch of physical reading over the next couple of weeks. We are in the last 2 weeks of school, and I am crocheting a special gift for each of my graduating seniors. Now, there are only 11 of them. However, I gave them the choice of what they wanted, and each of them got to choose. And so I actually still have 3 things left to finish. One of them is 85% or so done, but I ran out of stuffing. So I am thieving stuffing from my mother. They've got the big one. And so when we meet for me to regain custody of my oldest, who went to the movies with her friends over there last night, when we meet this evening for me to get her, mom has a box of stuffing that she's going to donate to the cause for my seniors. But I've got to finish that. I'm making a horse for that one. And I let his nieces who attend school with us as well, who I have a music class, I let them choose the colors. So it is bright red and navy blue, and they want me to make a mustache and put his brand on it. So when I get done stuffing it and sewing everything together, I am going to embroider their brand on the left hip of this poor horse. And then I have a Spirit, the horse, like from Spirit the movie. I have one of those to make for another student. And then I have a student who's a firefighter, and I'm making him a firefighter gnome. And then another student, I've already got the big part of her present. She wanted a spider, but she wanted a painter spider. So I've got the spider done, but I have to make like a paintbrush for it. The point is that these are all like unique to the student. I only had a couple of them that were like, I don't know, make me a beanie. My favorite color is gray. I like noodles. A bowl cozy would be fine. And then I feel bad because I made like a plain bowl cozy in a gray beanie, and everybody else is getting like giant cows with specific colors and embroidery. And but anyway, we've only have 2 weeks left of school, and I really won't see those kids the last week of school. So I'm trying to get my crocheted presents for them done. So it's audiobooks and TV. Um, while that is being completed, like I said, I've only got like 3, but they are pretty big projects to make them special and unique for my students. I've done 2 cows. One of them is like a traditional black and white, but it's big. Another one is decently big, and it's a sunflower cow. The horse, the spider, a raccoon. I don't remember what all else. A turtle, a plushy turtle with a camouflage shell. So yeah, like I'm babbling on about it, but that's what I'm doing this weekend. The house is suffering, but when does it not suffer? My reading's not particularly suffering because I don't read as much on the weekends anyway, as we're running back and forth. But my physical reading is suffering even more than normal because of it. However, I really am looking forward to getting a start on this. I was super intrigued by the flap. 12-year-old Sarah Green wants nothing more than to spend 7th grade beating the hardest escape rooms alongside her best friends, West and Hannah. However, a foreclosure notice shows up on Sarah's front door and everything changes. Now they have to move away until they can get back on their feet. And then she has to play the Delta game. According to local legend, three identical brothers dreamt of building the most epic funhouse in existence, wanted the experience to be more than mirror mazes and optical illusions. So they not only created elaborate riddles and secret passages, they also claimed to have hidden a treasure inside the building, a prize for beating their game. And so the three friends decide to take on the challenge. Once inside, they realize the house is unlike any escape room they've attempted. There are challenges, but they feel personal. It seems impossible, but so does everything else about the house. As the trio climbs through trapdoors, swings from wall to wall on ropes, and searches for hidden keys, Sarah worries they're in over their head. But there's no turning back now, even if they wanted to. Um, yeah, so I am really looking forward to getting into that. The very first scene on the first page is them in the middle of an escape room, so you just get thrown right into it. And I love Lindsay Curry's writing, so I am really looking forward to hopping into her next book. I have rambled on at you guys enough, so I will let you go. Do not forget to celebrate May the 4th in some way. Hop over to my co host Elizabeth Meadows' channel, Lizzie Faye Loves Books, because her whole middle grade May path is about her reading Star Wars books. So she is definitely using the Force today, as should we all. I will talk to you again soon. Until next time, stay safe out there, guys.